Donde está my chippity chapstick? Chippity chapstick. Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. This is the Rewatch series! And today I'm talking about 101 Dalmatians. 101 Dalmatians is a 1961 animated theatrical release, and I've covered everybody that's worked on it in a previous video. They will be listed and linked in the description. 101 Dalmatians is based off a book called The 101 Dalmatians by Dodie Smith, released in 1956. Shall we compare? Pongo and Mrs. are two Dalmatians that live with Mr. and Mrs. Dearly and their two nannies. The dogs think the humans are their pets, but they let the humans think they are the owners. Mrs. has 15 puppies. Mrs. Dearly finds an old Dalmatian in the middle of the road in the pouring rain. The vet informs Mrs. Dearly that the Dalmatian has recently given birth. She keeps her and names her Perdita, and Perdita helps nurse the 15 puppies. Perdita informs Pongo and Mrs. that she lost her prince and her puppies. The Dearlys run into Cruela De Vil, who married a furrier because she's obsessed with fur. Cruella wants a Dalmatian skin coat and offers to buy all the puppies. The Dearlys refuse, but the puppies disappear a few days later. The humans can't find them, but Pongo, Mrs. and Perdita use the Twilight barking system, and it leads them to Hell Hall. Pongo and Mrs. try to tell the Dearlys to no avail and decide to save the puppies themselves. They travel far with the Twilight Bark network and meet Colonel, who takes them to Hell Hall. Once inside, they discover 97 puppies, including their own. Cruella enters and instructs the goons to kill the puppies as soon as possible because of the Dearly puppy publicity. Pongo and Mrs. steal the puppies back that night. Cruella returns and pursues them. Cruella De Vil, Cruella De Vil. If she doesn't scare you, no evil thing will. The Dalmatians are disguised with soot and hidden in a van. Cruella does not find them. In London, the dogs destroy Cruella's fur collection with the help of her cat, who hates her because she drowned her kittens. Ding, 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 we have a difference. Whoa. The dogs return to the Dearlys and storm in and roll around to remove the soot. The Dearlys put out a notice but realize the rest of the puppies were sold and not stolen. Cruella's husband goes bankrupt because all of his furs were destroyed, which leads to Cruella selling Hell Hall. The Dearlys buy Hell Hall to create a dynasty of Dalmatians. Perdita's prince arrives and the Dearlys let him stay, making him the 101th Dalmatian. The end. The film stars Rod Taylor, Kate Bauer, Ben Wright, Lisa Davis, Betty Lou Gerson, J. Pat O'Malley, and Frederick Warlock. Rod Taylor plays Pongo, and he's best known for Inglourious Basterds, The Birds, The Time Machine, and this. Kate Bauer plays Perdita, and she's best known for The Third Man and this. Ben Wright plays Roger, and he's best known for The Sound of Music, The Little Mermaid, The Jungle Book, and this. Lisa Davis plays Anita, and she's best known for Queen from Outer Space, The Dalton Girls, Babyface Nelson, and this. Betty Lou Gerson plays Cruella De Vil in Miss Birdwell, and she is best known for Cats Don't Dance, Checkmate, Cinderella, and this. J. Pat O'Malley plays Colonel and Jasper, and I covered him in the video about Alice in Wonderland. The link will be in the description. Frederick Warlock plays Horace and the Inspector, and he is best known for Spartacus, Terror by Night, Dressed to Kill, in this. Walt obtained the rights to this almost immediately after it was published. He purchased the rights in 1957, the book was 1956. And Dodie Smith really wanted Walt to make it into an animated feature, so she was very excited he purchased the rights. Walt decided to let Bill Peet write the story, and he did. This is the first time that a Disney animated feature was written by one person. Bill Peet obviously made some changes. He took away Cruella's husband, Cruella's cat, and the second mother, and morphed other things into it, but for the most part, the story is actually very faithful, I feel like. You know, the dogs covering themselves in soot, etc. Walt wasn't as involved in this film as he had been in previous. As I mentioned in the last rewatch for Sleeping Beauty not being a success really hurt Walt and his idea of the animation department, and he kind of became more involved in live action after that. He didn't really have any interest in doing animation anymore, but he was present at every story meeting, and Bill Peet sent Dodie Smith some drawings and some writings, and she said he improved upon her story and the drawings were better than what was in her book. After Sleeping Beauty, the animation department almost closed. Walt was very disenchanted with the animation. He didn't super care about it much anymore. They used Xerox photography, which was a method invented by Ub Iwerks to put the cost low, and it also helped the animation directors and animators with the spots on all the dogs, and it also was a little bit sloppier of an art. I'm sure you all know that very signature look of the sketchy lines, which are not seen in Sleeping Beauty at all, but are very known for 101 Dalmatians, and I would even say The Jungle Book, but 101 Dalmatians for sure has those sketchy lines that we all know and love from 2D animation. That is because of the Xerox photography that Ub invented. Walt hated the animation style. He thought it lacked fantasy that was in his other films, and even told Ken Anderson he would never direct another movie under him or any animated movie ever. And Ken Anderson, you know, really took that to heart and was really hurt. But a few years later, probably about just a year before Walt Disney was going to pass, he saw Ken and he basically apologized. And Ken Anderson was like, I wonder if he knew he was coming close to the end of his life, or if he just was like, I'm sorry, that was really mean. 101 was actually good. But Walt didn't like the film, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Elaine Stanley did the live-action reference footage for Anita. Mary Wicks did the live-action reference footage for Cruella. Mark Davis got to animate Cruella, which I'm so happy for him, because I know he's been doing a lot of the pretty women, the princesses, if you will, and hasn't really gotten a chance to do someone fun like Cruella, so I was excited for him. Lisa Davis was originally auditioning for Cruella and felt she wasn't right for the role, and Walt heard her read for Anita and agreed and casted her as Anita. Gerson auditioned and was chosen on the spot for Cruella, and they described her voice as a phony theatrical voice, someone who has set sail from New York but hasn't quite reached England. Mel Levin wrote the music and lyrics, and he wrote 3 different versions of Cruella De Vil. The one that's in the film, he wrote 45 minutes before a meeting with Walt. 101 Dalmatians was released in January of 1961, and it made $6.2 million off a $3.6 million budget. That is so good. It received very positive reviews. It was the top film in France of that year. Time magazine said it was the wittiest, most charming film to come from Walt, least pretentious film to come from Walt Disney. Other people praised it for being simple and charming. They said the story was a little but for the most part, everyone widely agreed upon that it was charming and just pleasant and a fun ride, and it has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. As I'm sure you saw in the thumbnail, we own the Blu-ray, as I did with Sleeping Beauty. I am not going to cover every single special feature that is on the Blu-ray, but I am going to go over the ones I think that are important. I have already pretty much gone through the making of on my own. That's what I do with these videos. But there were no deleted scenes, but there were deleted songs and different versions of songs. Deleted songs include Don't Buy a Parrot from a Sailor. I have no idea what that is supposed to do with this movie, but there you go. Goodbye Cheerio Toodaloo Hip Hip. And March of the 101. My favorite was March of the 101. I highly suggest watching that or finding it or listening to it, whatever, if you can. Then the rest of the songs were all different versions of Cruella De Vil or Canine Crunchies. It was very fun to hear all the different versions and see what could have been, or just hearing different version, like different take on the song. It was very fun. There's a 1996 live action version of this film, a 2000 live action sequel to that. There's a 2003 animated sequel to this, and there is a live action spin-off supposed to come out this year, or not this year, but like in the future, soon. It's a Cruella De Vil movie, and Emma Stone is supposed to play Cruella De Vil. In my original video, link in the description, I discussed how I remembered way less than I thought. I used to think Horace and Jasper were funny, but they're actually awful. I still stand by that, by the way. Cruella's a psycho. The animation is fun and cool and sketchy. I love the Twilight bark. Some dogs look like repeats. There's repeat animation. And 99 dogs is a lot, and I used to think Perdita popped out all 99 of them. My one singular new note is I love the nanny so much. She is so pure. Otherwise, I just want to fawn over the movie. I feel like this is another one, just like Lady and the Tramp, that I genuinely enjoy. I just never watch it. And I do. I genuinely enjoy this film. I agree with all of the critics in that it is so charming and simple and just pleasant to watch. It moves fast. It doesn't try to be something it's not. Does it have the strongest story ever? No. But is it a straight to the point story and you get where you're going and everything works out okay? Yes. And sometimes that's all you want. I really enjoy this movie. I don't really have new notes just because I like this movie. Horace and Jasper are still awful and not really that funny anymore, in my opinion. The Twilight bark is the best. I love all the dogs working together. It warms my soul. And then I love that they keep all the puppies. That's everything I have for 101 Dalmatians. I really love this movie. It is so charming. I love it. I have to re-rate it. I think, honestly, like, I'm giving it, like, an 8. 8 Dalmatians out of 10. Its original movie count is. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you'll find out what movie I'm watching when I put up videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Until next time, comment, like, subscribe. But I'm not sure if you are, so you do, and don't be Cruella De Vil about it. Tell me why, answer me, even what's Kyrie? Why is a princess human if a mouse is king? Sorry.